Well, following the last episode, of course, this was inevitable, but we return a Premier League side and Championship champions as well. We've got a massive lead, but we can ruin someone else's promotion chances today. And after that, we'll be planning for a year in the promised land. And to be honest, with the squad we've got, it should be a year and straight back down. Let's go and finish this season with a party and then plan for Premier League football at Southend. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 47 of Saving Southend with me, Daniel. It feels very weird saying this before the 50 episode mark, and particularly after just 6 seasons as well. But at Southend United, we are preparing for Premier League football, and on whatever merits we say this has been too easy a climb through the English pyramid and that we would expect more competition, particularly in the Championship, which is known for being competitive. We've got to give a shout out to our squad who have been brilliant, who have performed fantastically, and are a little bit depleted today up front, as you can see from the team news. But those little financial problems that were just creeping in are about to be solved with a vengeance, because we are about to go to the promised land. And those of you who know how I run these saves, we won't be investing a lot of money. We will not be spending anywhere near as much as Luton spent in real life this summer, which was the subject of ridicule from the footballing world. So if you're looking forward to seeing our plans for the summer, what we aim to do to build this club sustainably, and to see if we can ruin Kieran McKenna and Bristol City's promotion plans as well, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. We're going to have a lot to get through after this final game today, but for now, the focus is mainly on Bristol City with this one. Of course, with a win, we can get to 100 points, but we've been dropping off big time in recent weeks. I've been giving game time to a few of the youngsters, both from the start and off the bench. And if you're looking at the playoffs now, Bristol City 2 behind Coventry, but with a better goal difference, and only 2 ahead of West Ham. They could end up down in 6th at the end of this one as well. But let's have a look at the schedule and see what's been going on, because it's been a very strange month or so, really. You were with me as we beat Watford to virtually wrap up the title, and then we lost against Coventry to end a very long unbeaten run in the league, but it was in the midst of a pretty average spell of form by our standards, and that has continued. With 3 wins, one of them very narrow, have come 2 draws and a defeat as well. So we won 2-0 against Ipswich thanks to, again, 2 very late goals, Jayden Danns and Sonny Perkins there. Away at Reading, we drew 2-2 with Joe Hugill getting the equaliser on both occasions. At home to Luton, a frustrating 0-0 draw, but considering we had Dan Rose out and we were playing Joe Rose, still were plenty of clean sheets in this spell. A 3-0 win against Blackpool in the same circumstances. Nicky Morgan, the youngster off the bench, getting his first league goal for the club. That after Jayden Danns and Harrison Parker's early opener. A 1-0 win at Swansea thanks to Sonny Perkins, set up by Nicky Morgan, interestingly off the bench. Him and Jack Swift both getting football there. Anselm playing from the start to get a bit more as well. And then at home to Derby, a 1-0 defeat. Dan's got injured. We're left just with Perkins and Morgan. And as a result, the young centre forward will probably start today. So let's go and have a look at the team for this Bristol City game, because if we get through to the fixtures, we've got a few things to worry about. We're not going to have the affiliation with Southampton anymore, of course, because we'll be in the same division next year. And we know that the Premier League is going to be a very strong league for this team. And I'm hoping, as you guys have suggested in the comments, it's finally going to get tough at that point. This Bristol City team we know is good. The likes of Viner still there, who is much improved from our Bristol City save in FM23. If you missed the fun we had with them, you can find that in the eye above. That was a bit more of a roller coaster, that one. Jason Knight, we've managed before at Derby over on Twitch. Dan James, we know very well, Welsh International. So let's go and look at the team selection for this one. Because since the last game, yes, Jayden Danns has got an injury, so it's going to have to be Nicky Morgan up front. He's improving already, he's got big potential, and this football will really help him. Anselm is getting a run on the left for the same reason. Goodrum is back on the right. All of the players that are contracted to us and have got quality at a young age, they're the ones coming in. We did have young Swift on the bench as well, but I've brought him into the starting lineup for this one. Craven going back after this game. And I'm also going to put on the bench this time, maybe McKinstry as the most advanced player I can think of, and then we can use Sam Ammo as a backup striker. But we're clutching at straws there, I think. This is the team that we've gone for in full. It is Daniel Rose in goal. Young Jack Swift will get a run out at right back. He is doing okay and he is improving. He's got great natural fitness and deserves a chance. We want to blood youngsters into the team. And of course, you get a little bonus for an EFL if you play under 21s for more minutes. We've got Kwanzaa and Parker the centre halves with Ishmael at left back, Goodrum, Morehouse, Santos and Anselm the midfield four, and then Perkins up front in the unfamiliar target man role with Nicky Morgan the youngster alongside. We've got a few tied down longer term. We'll talk about contracts in a moment because that's going to be a big part of our planning for the future. I don't want to just tear this squad apart because we've got promoted. So let's go and get through the final game and then plan what we're going to do with them. Through to Bristol City v Southend United and a chance to spoil a promotion party for one of our fellow clubs. Well, another man we've managed before, Cameron Pring, is the one to drop to the bench for them. Mehmeti's there as well. Joe Taylor, who starts at Luton Town, and Amari Kellyman, star from that lifting spirit save last year at our rivals Linfield in that one. Didn't he score the winner in the Europa Conference final for them when they won the first trophy for Northern Irish football in Europe? I'm sure he did. Let's get through the dressing room. The pressure's all on them. We have got nothing to play for. And based on the Derby game, I would expect us to play like it. We've got to be fair and say we've got two non-league level youngsters in the squad with no experience. Dan Rose, the keeper, is not fully fit again yet. And there's a few other stars that we're leaving out, like on the left wing with Sam Ammo or McKinstry, to give Anselm football, the youngster. He's the man chasing back here as Lawrence gets down the right for Bristol City. Good ball in towards Mackie. And the header's just wide. Rose was beaten. Kwanzaa got beat in the air pretty comfortably. And Swift wasn't doing much on the cover as Goodrum puts the corner in at the other end. Headed away as far as Nicky Morgan. Goal and an assist already in the Championship. Was that offside from the through ball? Apparently not. But here is Morgan at the corner flag. Does well. Finds his fellow youngster Swift, but he's just muscled out of it there. Keeps working hard to force it backwards though. Out come Bristol City. They've got a good side and they've got through us so easy there. Mackie takes on the fullback. And in the end, I think it was Harrison Parker getting across. Just did enough to force the shot wide. With 10 gone, it remains goalless, but Bristol City have had the better of it so far, and they're on the front foot again. If they do go up at Coventry's expense, they'll be moaning about the players we put in the team today. But my argument would be do your own job, as Dan Rose has got the ball in goal again. Looking the fullback, rolls out to Jack Swift, trying to give him as many touches as possible. And he finds Goodrum, player flying in on him there. I know he didn't connect, but surely the intent would give a free kick for that one. Lewis Skelly back to Viner. And it's belabouring midfield. Blimey, the old Brighton one's there. As Mackie gets in, it's a great goal. Simon Mackie, what a strike. I mean, he's a super player. On loan from Arsenal, an Ireland international who's remarkably not scoring for them. But him and Evan Ferguson up front, tell you what, there'll be a threat at any major tournament with that too. 1-0 Bristol City, their promotion party's on. I guess we better keep an eye on Coventry, who are winning as well. But at the moment, it's in vain for Bristol City. For us though, a little bit of a damaging end to the season. The form's dropping off, but we saw that in League 1 and League 2 to bottle the title. The only reason it hasn't happened this year is because we've been so far ahead. With 10 minutes to half time, it remains 1-0. And Bristol City are dominating the game as we've got the ball at the back with Kwanzaa. Can we find a way back into this before half-time? As Swift on a yellow down the right. Probably have to protect him in the second half. Big ball into Morgan, though. Falls for Anselm. Look at that. The three youngsters we've brought into the team combine. Jack Swift with a brilliant early cross. Don't even know if that's his first name. I'm guessing again now. Nicky Morgan lost the header, but he forced the defender to make a mistake. And Anselm, the model citizen, into the team with a really good finish. 1-1, we've been outplayed, but again, this team just doesn't often know when it's beaten. Anselm is improving massively. The voice is going, but he's going to be a superstar in the future. With that personality, if we can keep him fit and keep him improving, we've got a gem on our hands. Into the second half, we go at 1-1. I'm not going to worry too much about the result here, but the performance is great. It is Jack Swift as well, I got that right too. I mean, you look at the stats, it's a robbery, it's an FM in, but I would trust Bristol City to win this eventually. As Balaba gets in, there's the goal. We do get caught out by that a little bit. Oh, it's been ruled out. Got VAR to contend with next season. I think that one might have counted. We get done by that little chip free kicking at the near post. I've tried different tactics. You can't seem to do much about it this year. As Goodrum gives it to Kwanzaa at the back, and now Swift. Big ball forward, which is well under hit. And Lions will get it away to Belabor. We are missing a target man as well here. But Perkins is doing his bit covering in. Swift has got caught now. He's well out of position. And this is where the inexperience shows, isn't it? Back to Belabor. And it has cost us the goal. Swift's not showing us on a yellow card there. At the bottom of the screen. Is he still on it? What's changed? He's definitely got one. His icon's just disappeared, that's all. An hour on the clock. We will give him some protection in a minute. We'll take Ishmael off on the other side as well. Just make sure we don't have any disasters at the end. Don't want suspensions carrying over. So we'll go for... Do you know what? I'll bring on Elkan Baggott and put Kwanzaa to right back. Because Baggott's off for Motherwell, don't forget. And I feel we should say goodbye to him. He's been a good servant. Parks will come on at left back for Ishmael. Goodrum will come off in midfield for Solly March, who's retiring after this game. And Reece Russell-Denny will come on in midfield for Andre Santos or Morehouse. We'll go Morehouse there. And then a final change a bit later on. We'll throw Sam Ammo up front just to see what he can do. But at the moment, 2-1 with this team. The players we've put out, the experience they've got. I'm really happy with the effort. Good save, Dan Rose again. We're clinging on in there, but we're not offering a great deal now. And I'm quite glad that we didn't have this striker injury crisis 3 or 4 months ago, because we could have been in a spot of bother. As Anselm tries to chase the ball out from the corner, but it's straight back under pressure for us. To the byline they go. Anselm does well. Underrated him. He managed to get there. And we're just over 15 to go. I am going to find a space for Sam Ammo now. He is good in that advanced role. So Nicky Morgan, he's had 74 minutes. He's done really well. We're going to get him off, get Sam Ammo up front. And if anything, that final sub strengthens this team. Oh, why did I do it? What a way to finish the season. It's almost the fitting way in FM24, isn't it? A goalkeeper injury to put us down to 10. And we finish the season as champions of the championship, working out which player we're going to put in goal. They've all got a goalkeeper rating of 3, I think. So it shouldn't be too difficult. If we've got any attacking players with that, I'd rather they go in goal. Solly March could go left back. We could put Parks in there. I think that might be our best option at the minute. Then Sam Ammo could go out wide. Santos not really the tallest to do that at 5'11". Anselm 5'10". And I've got to bear in mind as well, whoever goes in goal now is going to get in a strop. So I'd probably rather it be Parks a backup. Solly March will go left back. Sam Ammo will go out wide. And Perkins can go as an advanced forward now. It is the most fitting finish to a season that's been so good, that's been so enjoyable. To finish it with a bit of a comical ending. I'm sure the Southend fans will be enjoying it purely because there's nothing riding on the game. Coventry won't be. They're only 2-1 up, and that's because of a missed penalty at Derby. They'll be hoping there isn't anything else. But 2-1, and as it stands, we're a minute from a Stephen Parks clean sheet. Can he hold on? Header in, just over the bar. Stephen Parks has done it, and he doesn't concede, but we await now the strop from him next week about playing out of position, even though we can do nothing about it. We finish on 98 points. Coventry get promoted on 88. And now Bristol City will be top of 4 sides in the playoffs, including Hull, who were up with us for most of the season, and West Ham, who picked up under Nigel Pearson. They've got the superstars. Dan Rose is out for 5 to 6 weeks again. Every goalkeeper after a couple of years just seems to become injury prone. Might be one of the few areas we have to upgrade next summer. Solly March is retiring, but he got his run out. We'll get through the press conference. We'll get through the next couple of days. We'll see the end of season messages. We'll run through the budgets. We'll start to plan ahead for next season because, quite frankly, that's the most important bit now. Well, we're here with the end of season messages. I don't think I mentioned, by the way, we got big offers for Josh Brooking, I think during the last episode from the MLS, but he rejected both clubs in the end. So we didn't get 3 or 4 million that we could have bought in there. But next season, we have got to try to play attacking football according to the fans and attempt to avoid relegation. If the board expectation is anything beyond that, we might be having our first crisis of the save. 9,000 season ticket holders, a massive increase in social media following. And of course, that's because we've gone up to the Premier League. I've seen that replicated with my club, Luton Town. And this would be a similar story from National League to Premier League. Let's have a look, though, at the club vision because they want to expand the stadium again, which is great news. We can get it up to sort of 17, 18,000. We are at that competitive level. They want to now offer very small contracts to over 32s. But hang on. I thought that said maximum for a minute. Minimum 2-year contracts for first teamers. Okay, that's fine. They want to play attacking football. They want to play entertaining. They want to still make the most of set pieces. So with the expectation not even to stay up, I think we're going to stay the same and try and be aggressive. Of course, away to the top teams, a bit like we've done in previous years, we're going to have to get that back three out again now. But at home and against the bottom half sides, I feel like we go for it and we just see what happens. If we go down, no one really expects any different. We've got a 2-year deal, so we should be comfortable on that front. And the only aim is to attempt to avoid relegation, which I don't think any of us really expect. The squad dynamics are good, but we'll cover the team in a minute. The end of season team meeting, we'll talk to them later as well. Let's see if there's anything else important there. We did have a few injuries this year, in fairness, didn't we? We didn't have any of the proper long ones, like your 7, 8, 9-monthers, but we did have Brooking out for 3. We had to get a replacement in. Presley missed 2 months, and he's had more injuries as well. Missed the 5th of the season. I guess we're lucky his biggest one has come now. We've been without the likes of McKinstry, Goodrum, Stephen Parks, all with 5, 6, 7-week injuries. But we have managed to avoid ones at key times this year until probably the final few games with the goalkeepers and strikers. But by then, it didn't really matter. We're not going to spend big money on a training camp. You all know me by now. We'll deal with the rest of this stuff afterwards. But for now, we want to have a look at the squad for next year. I've updated the squad planner and it shows some of the deficits. But there are going to be problems here next season. We've got 2 goalkeepers at the club, the 2 Roses, who maybe is one of the few areas we're going to need an upgrade. I've loved Dan Rose. He's been consistent throughout, but is he Premier League level? I guess that's a silly question. Probably bar Santos, none of our team is, but it might be one of the few areas we want to make a bit of investment. At fullback, we're going to have some real work to do because on the right, we've obviously been relying on loan players and pretty much a whole mess of different backups. Brooking is still wanted elsewhere. Williams out on loan. Carrington a backup. None of them are great, but we'll see what we can do. And of course, the ones we've had on loan this year, maybe there's a chance we try and get them permanently now. It will depend on contractual situations and all that stuff. On the left, I'm fairly happy. Ishmael and Parks have been brilliant. And as long as they're happy to stay, I'm happy to keep them. At centre-half, we've got work to do, unless we can keep Harrison Parker, because Baggett's leaving, Kwanzaa is the only one who's staying, and he's got a release clause. It's the only way to sign a deal. And after that, it's only Dancock, so I'm not sure he's going to do too much for us. In midfield, the centre's not bad. We've got Russell Denny, we've got Morehouse, we've got Santos, we've got another youngster you can see there we've agreed a deal for, and of course people like Rose and McGregor coming back. We might just need one more in there. But out wide, we've got real problems. Goodrum on the right was backed up by a number of loan players. And on the left, it's Anselm and a number of loan players. So unless we can keep a McKinstry, a Tanani, a Sam Ammo, someone like that, with Solly March retiring as well, we're going to be very short on numbers. So if we're going to play 4-4-2 or even the 3-4-3, we're going to need wide players. But we'll address that situation in the fullness of time. And up front, probably one of those positions, again, we don't need work. Hugill and Dan's, I'm happy to give a go. Sonny Perkins has scored goals ever since he's been here, albeit he's not that happy at the minute because of his contract. He's got another 2 years, so we're in control. And Aaron Presley, as a 4th choice, particularly given the fact we're going to be playing one up front more next year, I can accept that. I've got no problem at all. So I think based on the fact I want to keep the core of this squad together, you can see that a relegation should be the likely outcome. Whether or not that's going to be the case, I don't know. We've tied down most of this squad for long enough that we don't have to worry even if we do get relegated. You can see to get them to sign new deals, we've had to give Ishmael and Kwanzaa pretty hefty release clauses, but still attainable ones if a Premier League club wants them. And we've also got a couple of players who have refused to do so, with Tyler Goodrum and Joe Hugill, both unhappy at the time we wanted to offer new deals, and after securing promotion have asked for silly money. Of course, because we've got promoted now, we could well start to get interest in our players. We could get some big money in for 1 or 2. But it is going to be about wheeling and dealing. I look very much at the approach Luton took in real life. Can we find a couple of good experienced free agents? I guess a slightly experienced version of Andre Santos last summer. Our slight gamble on the wage front rather than being on the transfer front. And then make sure that for all of them, we've got those relegation release clauses. And in addition, certainly the relegation wage drops for anyone who's going to earn more. So the highest earner next season is going to be Kwanzaa and Santos because their promotion wage rises take them both up to about 16, 17 grand a week. So my aim is, can I keep everyone under 20 for now? At the very worst, 25 if great talent becomes available. But for me, I want to stick with the core of this squad for a couple of reasons, really. I want to see if my assumptions and my assertions that this game has been a little bit too easy coming up through the divisions are right. Will they remain the case in the Premier League? More importantly, a lot of these boys deserve a chance. And thirdly, we're expected to come back down, and we know this squad is capable of doing well in the Championship. So why mess with it too much when we've got a good squad on a modest wage? Let's just see if we stay up. And then if we do, we can really invest. If we don't, then we can rebuild again, but we'll have most of that core in place. So I would expect my plan in the summer to probably be 7 or 8, maybe 9 or 10 added to the squad, but included in that a few youngsters and hopefully a few of these loan players, because Harrison Parker, he's got 1 year left on his deal. He's on 22 grand a week at City. So they're the sort of questions we've got to ask. Can we get these people for a sum that we can measure? You look at him at the moment, the wage is no problem, 20 to 25 grand, but City want £30 million. And at the moment, that's the problem. He's affordable on the wage front, but he's out of our whole transfer budget, which we'll look at in a minute. If we have a look at the other players on loan that might be more attainable, I mean, even Craven's worth £20 million. It does seem a little bit ambitious. Again, the wage is fine, but we can't afford to spend 16 million quid on what is going to be an average right back. We're going to have to start finding alternatives. All of the other players are worth loads. Tanani, Sam Ammo. The only one we've maybe got a chance at is McKinstry. I'm even loath to pay 5 million for him, albeit the circumstances dictate I might well do it. I just think I could probably find the same sort of talent on a free, and his wage demands are now higher to make up for the lack of transfer fee. So this is going to be a very interesting summer. Whether or not we can get 2 of those domestic loans back, I don't know. Of course, we are limited to 2 in the Premier League rather than having up to 5 in the matchday squad. And maybe people like Tanani are going to become more important. Can we get loans from abroad to fill gaps in the squad without a big cost for us? So the likes of Mirko Tanani, very decent players, will do a job for us. Has been really impactful when he's played for this team. Can he be the one to help us at the next level? We'll wait and see as the summer goes on. I've got a feeling it's going to be a tricky one, but I'm looking forward to the challenge regardless with this squad. Let me show you the transfer budget we've got to work with, because we did have it through after securing promotion. The budget we've been given, £29 million, with a wage budget that's just over doubled. It's currently 175 grand a week. It's gone up to just over 400. And if we look at next season, I would imagine that's about right. We're going to lose a quarter of that to all of the players getting their current wage increases because they've won promotion. So that'll take us up to sort of 220, 230 already. And then you're talking about 6 or 7 good additions, aren't you? The transfer budget I'd rather not use, but we'll wait and see. And it says at the moment, the following year, we've only got 15 million guaranteed. So the Premier League riches are not going to trickle through for a little while yet. We will hope to spend a little bit of it on facilities. If I show you them, they've mentioned they want to upgrade the stadium again, which would be great. But we also want to get the youth facilities up and the youth recruitment up, because in the long term, as we've seen in glimpses with Morgan and Swift, and a couple of good players this year we'll look at in a moment, they're the ones that are going to take us to the next level. I will very quickly show you the one player we've pre-agreed a deal for. Ayrton Moses coming in. It's another one of those 18-year-olds with potential. We've got a couple of players out on loan doing well. You can see we're trying to improve the coaching team already. Always my number one priority. And if we have a look at this year's youth intake as well, we've actually had a few good players through, and for the first time, not just from England. So Adamola Okoye, really good personality, centre-half or centre midfielder. Another one at 15 that might be a gem for the long term. We'll keep an eye on him. Kim Sung-yup from South Korea, a right back who's not got great natural fitness, who's not quite there yet, but at 6'6" and with decent determination, might be one to watch out for the long term. And then Ty Clampin is the third, a midfielder who, again, I don't think will make it for us. Not a great personality, very good in certain areas technically, but he's a League One player at best when he develops. Someone who we can maybe get some money out of in the long term. And don't forget, next year, we might have the EFL trophy for the youth team as well. So the youth development is certainly going to be key to the future. I want to be able to sustain the club and bring players up from within. But for now, I want to trust a lot of this squad, give them a chance in the Premier League, and hopefully fill in the gaps with some talent for not much money. It's an ambitious plan to try and build for the Premier League on a budget, but Luton Town have proved you can do it and compete in real life. So the gauntlet is thrown down for me. Can I do the same? Let me know in the comments what you think. Is the core of this squad able to spring a surprise? Based on the fact that we've gone through the divisions more easily than I'd expect, is there enough here to do something special? We'll wait and find out the answer. But of course, in a couple of days' time, it will be summer transfer special time with Southend United. So if you did enjoy this one, a big end to a big season in the Championship and a comical finish with a left-back in goal, and please do put a thumbs up on it. If you want to stay up to date and see what we do in the summer, as I try and build a side on a budget for Premier League football, then do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. Can we replace the loan players well enough? And will we spend the 30 million? I think you know the answer to that by now. In the meantime, though, it's been a very controversial week in the head coach. You can find the latest episode of that one up in the eye above from yesterday, in addition to a little chat about the series on Sunday from some of the more hotly debated topics from last week in terms of job offers. But for now, if you've caught up with all of that, you can find the Twitch channel and the football podcast in the eye above with loads of other content. The guide that we were going to put out at the weekend will be out this one instead. And we'll be back here, most importantly, with a summer transfer special as Southend United make their Premier League debut in a couple of days' time here. Thank you very much for watching and following another season. I hope we're able to find a few gems this summer, because if not, it should be 20th place, but will it be? I'll see you next time to find out.